Hello, my friends. Welcome to Colleen's Craft Closet, where forgotten stamps, dusty dies, and old paper collections come out to play and they find their sparkle again. This is February's Stash Revival, which is a collaboration with Melanie from A Creatively Crafted Life, and I will put her channel link below, and you can find her on YouTube and on Facebook. And this is February's Stash Revival. Our prompt was hearts. I used 2 stamp sets and 1 metal die set. Let's look at the metal die set first, and this is from Spellbinders, and it's called Sew, S-E-W, So Sweet Valentine. And I got this metal die set from a Facebook Marketplace D-Stash here locally, and I got a lot of stamps and dies, and I've never really utilized them, so I'm excited to start making cards and layouts and embellishments and use those. This particular one has a square card that you can cut out. I chose not to use the square because, one, it costs more to mail them, and two, I'd have to make the envelopes. And the third reason I chose not to use this square die to cut my card base was I have a lot of card bases that are over 14 years old that are left over from making my wedding invitations, and I want to get them used up. So this particular die set, you'll see it has a scallop heart, it has a banner, it has flowers, it has some leaves, and these are the centers. And so that is the die set that I chose to use this month. Then we have this sentiment stamp, which is new to my collection, and I don't want to add things to my collection, but I had hubby get it for me for Christmas because I did not have a happy anniversary sentiment, and I really needed one to make anniversary cards. And I liked this font, and this says happy anniversary. I got it off of Amazon. This says sending you lots of love, be your own. I can't see, but now I can. Be your own kind of beautiful. Never stop dreaming. Thinking of you. Happy birthday. Thank you. Where flowers bloom, so does hope, and you're in my thoughts. My video channel is only less than a year old, and I am getting used to filming, so I hope you bear with me. And as I learn to do different things and get more comfortable with filming, and you would think that I never talked. I used to teach for a living. I used to teach college, and let's see, 100 students, sometimes 50, sometimes 300 students at a time, but haven't talked a lot in front of people in a long time. So, and then this camera filming is a little different, and so I'm still getting used to it. So kind of bear with me. I hope you do. Here is the third item that I used this month. This is a very old stamp set. I got it a long time ago. There's one for each month that got off of QVC, believe it or not. And this stamp set usually has the months, and then it has other sentiments that kind of go along with that month. And this is the only place I have Happy Valentine's Day. So I utilized this sentiment, and I utilized the love sentiment from this stamp set to create 25 cards. 11 of my cards are Valentine cards and 14 are anniversary cards. So when I think of the prompt heart, I thought, well, it's February, Valentine's Day. That was a very logical place to go. But I also thought, oh, hearts, I don't need lots and lots of Valentines, but I need some anniversary cards, and that goes along with hearts, and so would wedding cards and even birthday cards. There's a lot of cards that you could make with hearts, and I will incorporate hearts into my layouts for the month of February. So look for my video in the future where I share my February layouts. I am going to pause the camera for a minute and get my cards so that you can see what I created. The first set of cards I created utilized most of the metal die set. You can see here is the scalloped heart. Here is the banner. I stamped love on it. I stamped happy anniversary. I cut out these flowers and these, I call them like fronds, so these leaves. And I created this card. The butterfly comes from a Vicky Bouton stamp collection, and I already had lots of butterflies stamped out, so I was glad to be able to utilize this. These cards are 5 1/4 by 7 inches, and they, as I said, are leftovers from my wedding invitations. They're over 14 years old. I have about 35 of them, and I really want to get them used up. And so what I did is I also have lots of 4 1/2 by 6 1/2 papers that are already pre-cut. They are from Creative Memories. I've had them in my stash a long time, and I want to try to use those up. So you card makers can probably see that the borders around these are not exactly equal, and that is because of the card dimensions and the pre-cut paper, but I think I made it work. I like the card, and most of the people I give these cards to are not going to focus in on that slight difference in borders. And so this is the first card, anniversary card I created, and here is a second one. And you can see this time I cut out a nice pink heart as part of the background. I was trying different things to see what I liked. I had different leaves in my stash, and I kind of put a dot and dash border around the banner and around the scalloped heart just to play with it and see what I liked. And here is a third anniversary card, mostly entirely using the die collection. Here you can see I inked it, and I didn't really like it because the pink blended too much with the pink heart. But as I said, I was trying different things to see what I would like and what I would utilize in the future. So that's my first set of cards for anniversaries. My second type of card for the anniversary, you can see I used the scallop heart, I used the banner, and I stamped love, and I stamped the happy anniversary sentiment. And then I was using items from my stash. This large rose focal element is something that I had already stamped, but it wasn't ink blended, and so I took the time to blend them to give them a little more color. And then I went into, I have a collection of leaves that are all cut out and flowers that are all cut out, and using up those stash items, I created this card, still using up the 4 1/2 by 6 1/2 papers. There's another version of the card, and you can see they're all a little bit different flowers, a little bit different leaves. And here is a third version of this particular card. And I sent a photo of this to Melanie, and I said, oh, I'm just not really sure about this card, because for me, this very large rose element is huge. And I had created them to use on some of my scrapbook layouts, and I didn't realize that was a little bit off center, to use on my scrapbook pages, and I forgot about them. And they're very large, and I know Vicky Bouton likes large icons. The leaves are also from her stamp collection, and I wanted to get them utilized, and so I said, I'm just not sure about this, Melanie. And she said, usually when she has a very large focal element, she shifts it off to the left or to the right. And Melanie has made hundreds and hundreds of cards and has lots more experience with card making. I only have dabbled with cards. I make them for my friends, I make them for my family. I usually use my paper scraps And sometimes I use stamps, but this is all rather new to me. And so I took her advice. I asked her, hey, can I use it on my video and show the card with the focal element shifted? And she said, sure. And so here you see, we'll put them side by side. Kind of give it a little space there. And here you see the two different cards. This is with the focal element, this big purple rose shifted off to the left, and the scalloped heart shifted off to the left. And you can see I'm using different leaves and different flowers. I even found some vellum leaves, butterfly that was pre-cut out. And I even found this little swan, and it tucked in perfectly with this happy anniversary. So that's my first version of this card, that the focal element is shifted, but I think I got it a little bit too low on the card front. So I made one more, and you can see it's just a little bit lower, and it seems more centered. And so you can also see I used various things from my stash, even had some little silver leaves and little silver, I don't know, fronds, doodads, little things that enhance your cards and your scrapbook elements. So, oh, sorry, loss of words today, loss of words. And so I will look back at the original one. You know, both work. I really need to practice putting the focal element, shifting it to the right or left, especially when it's so large, and kind of play with it and see which one I like better. And so that is card version number 2. I'm going to pause the video and we're going to look at some more anniversary cards. Here we have another version of the anniversary cards. And in this one, I still am using the metal die set for the scalloped heart and the banner, and I'm using the love sentiment and the happy anniversary sentiment that I stamped out. But I went into my flower and leaf and butterfly containers and pulled out things from my stash that were already ready to go. And so I'm using up little bits of what I call my lovely leftovers. And so this butterfly and these roses are from that same Vicki Boutin stamp collection. I had stamped a bunch out, and I'm glad to be able to get them on a card or get them on a layout and get them out of my stash and use what I had created earlier. Same thing with these little smaller purple flowers. I had stamped them out at an earlier time. And so I put them on this card base and with some of the 4.5 by 6.5 papers that were pre-cut, and created this version of the card. They're all very similar. You'll see that the flowers are the same. This is actually a silk flower, and you probably will see that the leaves change a little bit. And so there are, I think, a total of 6 of these. And see, they're all slightly different. And I don't think I showed you some of the bottom ones over here. But they're not much difference to them. So I created a total of 14 anniversary cards. No, wait a minute. Is that right? No, sorry about that. Yes. Oh, sorry. I'm really not going to restart this video. I've been restarting several times. It just happens. We get better at this as we go along, or we don't. But this is me. I did create 14 anniversary cards. And so next I'm going to shift and show you the Valentine cards I created this month with the prompt of hearts, and using this metal die and also using some of my lovely leftovers in my stash. So I'm going to pause the video and we'll look at the Valentine cards. Okay, here you see the Valentine cards I created, and I used a lot of that metal die set. The scalloped heart, the banner where I stamped love, the stamped sentiment Happy Valentine's Day. I created these flowers and cut out these leaves from that metal die set, and I'm using some of the 4.5 by 6.5 papers that I had in my Valentine's collections. These are older creative memories that has been in my stash quite a bit. I had pulled these butterflies out of my butterfly container, and oops, that got a little bit bent. Let's put that back in place. And what else to say? This one I actually like a little bit better than this one. I think the black background kind of makes it pop a little bit better because of the black in the stripes. And this is a little bit busy, and what would have helped is if I had inked the edges of the heart, I believe. That probably would have helped, but once it was glued down, there was no changing it. So there are 3 of these large Valentine cards that I created with that metal card die set, and then I have 8 more to show you, which is a different card version. Here are 8 smaller Valentine's cards that are 4 by 5.25. I bought these card bases. Actually, I had my husband give them to me as a Christmas gift, and I bought 100 card bases and envelopes, knowing that I was going to be collaborating with Melanie for this series. And when I got them, I discovered they were slick. The surface is slick, and the inks that I have do not dry very quickly or hardly at all on these slick surfaces, but I have 100 of them and I need to use them up, and so I need to figure out how to use them, and I think with this first set of cards, I think I did quite well. And so these cards are made with a lot of lovely leftovers. When I have Valentine's papers or red and pink, and sometimes black paper left over, I have a bunch of creative memory punches that are very old. They've been in my stash for about 20 years, and I punched out a bunch of hearts, and these were punched out, and when I finish up a collection and I have the scraps, I usually punch these hearts, and so I have a large amount of them to use up, and that's how I created these cards. I have a strip of washi tape here. I have a 1/4-inch strip of black paper because I thought that would help with the other black elements on the card to kind of balance the color, I guess. That's what I would say, balance the color. Not good at describing what I'm doing, getting better at it. So this was left over from making a card or making a scrapbook layout. So I put 3 sets of hearts, and these elements here, the stamp and the envelope and this stamp here, and the what was this, a conversation heart, I fussy cut from the collection Echo Park Be My Valentine. And so I took the, what do we call this, border strip, or the branding strip. That's a better way to say it, I guess. The branding strip for that collection, Be My Valentine from Echo Park, I saved them because I knew they would make great sentiments for Valentine cards or Valentine layouts. And so this is cards, there's 8 of them here that made from my lovely leftovers. They're all very similar. They just use different patterns of paper. The first couple on this side, I have a die cut element that was from a swap, a Valentine's Day swap on Ginger's Corners several years ago, and I don't remember who was my swap partner, but I really liked them, and I was so glad I was able to use them. Here we have a red one, and here you see I have a pink one, and so the cards are all very similar. Inside the cards, because it is slick, I had to go ahead and stamp the sentiment Happy Valentine's Day on leftover pieces of white paper. And I cut it out and placed it there. Down at the bottom, I have leftover washi strips, leftover paper. I have some heart punches to create a little bit of an element inside. And so here are 8 different cards. I'll kind of go through them so you can see them. They're all a little bit different. And so the paper patterns will change, and the envelope and the stamp element and the conversation heart will be just a little bit different. And so here's another one, and we have, a little bit redder elements. And here's the last one on this side. So I will be able to send them out to my friends and family. Here's, like I said, they just vary slightly in what elements I used. Different fussy cut stamps, different fussy cut envelopes, and different patterns of paper. So this month I created 8 small Valentine cards. I created 3 large Valentine's Day cards. And then I created a total of, see if the stack will stay, 14 anniversary cards, which makes 25 cards this month from my dies and stamps and lovely leftovers. So I hope that you enjoyed this video and that you are inspired to go into your stash and find some metal dies, some stamp sets, some tools that you've never used or haven't used in a long time, or even mixed media that you've never used or you haven't used in a long time, and create some cards, create some layouts, create some junk journal pages. Thank you for coming to my channel today to watch this video, and I hope that you will go over to Melanie's channel. I'll put the link below. Melanie is an awesome card creator. She creates hundreds of cards, and she's very talented. She's been doing it a long, long time. And go and see what she created this month for February, and what dies and what stamp sets she utilized, or what tool she found, or what paper collections or scraps she found to utilize to make some cards or some layouts. And I want to say thank you for my subscribers who have been here since the beginning of my channel, it's about less than a year old, and those who have watched each time a video has come up. And I want to welcome my new subscribers. Since I started this collaboration with Melanie, I gained about 60 subscribers. So welcome. And I hope that you are not disappointed with the cards and layouts I make. And I'm just happy that I can share what I'm creating, because that's my goal, just to share what I'm creating and hopefully show you how I'm learning and inspire others as we use the stuff in our stash. So thank you for stopping by Colleen's Craft Closet, and until next time, keep crafting, keep shining, and give those forgotten favorites a little bit of love. Bye, my friends.